Joe, I know that they're mad at me. I know that Texas Tech fans hate my guts, but what does Texas Tech have to do to win a national title?
Blake, I think the first and foremost important thing is that they have a elite front seven. They've got one of the best front sevens in college football. There is nothing fake about this. David Bailey, Romello Height, elite pass rushers. Jacob Rodriguez, one of the best linebackers in the country. And then you've got Roberts. You've got a lot of the guys in the mix that are super, super underrated. Mm-hmm. In order to go on a run, Blake, that group has to continue doing what they're doing. Got to completely overwhelm and smother teams offensively. They need to keep these games low scoring. They need to control the pace of these games. Keep your opponent in check and win through your defense. The minute that they start giving up big plays, and this happens to any good defense, once an offense finds that little crack and they start giving up big plays, I worry that things could get away from them. And the reason why, in the second part with this, if their offense isn't effectively finishing in the red zone and they're not...
Be careful.
No, I'm not saying I'm not as critical as you are. If they're not able to control the time of possession as much as they could and finish off drives the way that they need to, that will set them up for failure. Like, we got to see Behren Morton, the offense, tick up that success that they're having in the red zone. They got to finish. They can't do what they did against BYU twice. They have to put points on the board. And most importantly, you have a front seven that does a really good job of forcing turnovers. You can't leave any situation in any of these games coming up. If you're able to put together a run, you have to score touchdowns off of those turnovers. You cannot get into situations where you're kicking field goals or you're punting. You just can't. They have an opportunity to be a team that is chaotic, that does damage, that shocks everybody, but it all comes down to finishing. Finishing is one of the most important core tenets in football, and it is going to be surely emphasized for the Red Raiders.
I want to clarify what was said the other day from me.
Okay.
Because a clip went out there. Number one, I did not say that this defense, especially front seven, is not good. That did not come out of my mouth, even though that has been clipped, and people are like, Blake has said that this Texas Tech team is fraudulent. No. It's not what I said. I'll get to the offense in just a moment. However, they do have one of the best front sevens in the country. They get after you. Jacob Rodriguez is a dog. Their secondary at safety will come down and light you up defensively. Joe, they have been electric. I don't think, however, and something that I want to monitor here, if they go up against Oregon as an example, I just don't think that you've seen an offense that can challenge you vertically. I don't know of an offense that can push you the way that potentially Oregon, or even if you were to beat Oregon, like Indiana or some of these other teams, can literally get vertical on you and do some good things offensively. Joe, I don't have enough words about their defense. They've completely revamped it. They're physical along the line of scrimmage. Their linebacker play has not been good. It's been great with Jacob Rodriguez. The way that they get after the passer, instinctually, this is what I said in that same segment that got clipped. I think instinctually, they have the best front seven when it comes to just understanding, reading plays, and what they've done. However, to double down on what I said the other day, Joe, after the first initial touchdown by BYU this past Saturday, the 14-play, 90-yard drive, BYU had a 3-and-out. They had a turnover on downs. They had a punt. They had the end of half on a kneel down. They had a missed field goal. They threw an interception. They had another 3-and-out. They had a fumble. They had another 3-and-out. And then they had another 3-and-out. Joe, they gave you every opportunity. By the way, in all of that, they ran less than 20 plays. Let me repeat what I just said. You're leading them at half 13-7. They ran less than 20 plays on you in 10 drives, Joe. In 10 drives, you have an interception, you have a fumble, you have a turnover on downs. How many times are they going to turn the ball over and give you the ball back? I get the score is 34-7. What is being missed is what you brought up earlier. in game 1 versus BYU and in game 2 versus BYU, you should have beaten them worse than what you did because this offense for BYU is not good. Your defense completely dominated them. In 14 quarters. In 8 quarters, their offense for BYU scored 14 points. How many turnovers did your defense and special teams have to force before you look in the mirror and say, in the red zone, we're not executing well enough? We're not. Offensively, they got a lot of playmakers. You know how much I love Terrace Carter. You know how I love their running game, how good and explosive that they've been there. What I'm trying to say here is, and I will continue to say it, you cannot do that versus Oregon. You can't, or you're going to be on the outside looking in. You can't do that versus Indiana. You can't, if by whatever happenstance, there's another defense on your side of the bracket that you can't do that to either. I look at Oregon, I look at Indiana, and I look at Oklahoma, and even Alabama for that regard. Joe, those defenses and teams are better than BYU. And if you give them opportunities, if you continue to give teams in this playoff field those level of opportunities, you're going to say, man, with our best team, we have a really good defense. Why did we not win? And I'm telling you right now, the reason that you won't is because you're not executing offensively when it matters the most. You can hate me for it. You can clip us for it. You can clip me for it. You're not absolved to every other team that has lost this season that's had that same struggle. You're not.
I think that this is the good way of putting it, that you're leaving a lot of opportunities on the field. You are doing a lot of tremendous things defensively, and you're doing a lot of things that most defenses in the college football playoff field are not able to accomplish. It's really impressive how good your defense is. You're dominating teams. Most of the opponents that you faced haven't been like super quality opponents. Very commendable how you kick the crap out of the the ranked Big 12 teams. I think it's incredibly respectable. Imagine how much better you could be if you were able to finish. I don't think it's a knock. I don't think that they're fraudulent. Because I think
offensively they are.
I think that ultimately, though, when we're looking at all the woes and the problems that all these different teams have, they have one of the more correctable issues because they're getting 80% of the way there. They're getting down into the red zone. They're just not finishing. And sometimes that takes simple, better execution, different play calling. We talked about it with Ohio State where they got to execute and call better plays in short yardage situations. It's very possible for them, I think, out of any team to shock people's expectations as a non-blue blood program to get to a national championship if they finish. But we can't get into a situation against a team like Indiana, or if they were to advance further and to get to a national championship. Well, and also Oregon's one of these teams. If you ended up playing Ohio State or Georgia, you can't survive if you are going up against teams where the margins are closer and you're not starting hot and you're not putting up points on the board when you're given chances to. So I agree with that. I think that the execution here is critical for Texas Tech.
Joe, by the way, I'm looking at it right now. You can go to NCAA.com's statistics. Mm-hmm. Defensively, Texas Tech has faced one top 65 offense. One.
Okay. I don't think that takes away from how good their defense is.
No, I don't either. However, when I look at this, you know who's in the top 10? Or top 15, excuse me? Oregon. You know who has one of the best defenses in the country as well as you do? Oklahoma. You know who's really good on offense? Indiana. They might have the Heisman Trophy winner. So Texas Tech, this is how I'm going to end this here. Welcome to the field. Welcome to being a part of the big boys. You've done everything that you need to do to be a part of the big boys. Welcome to the show. We have been massive Texas Tech fans here. I still am. You got to understand how people talk about the big. We just got done obliterating Alabama for all of their faults. For all of their faults. We talked the same about A&M, a team that's in your own state. We talked about Ohio State. They got it. Hold on. What's the difference of us saying that Ohio State hasn't been tested, and then the first time that
you didn't call them fraudulent though? Okay. In their defense.
Sorry your feelings got hurt.
I just think you didn't need to use that word. I don't think you need to use that word because it
called their run game fraudulent. And it was.
Okay.
Welcome to the big show. You have a situation where you do the same things that you did versus BYU, and Oregon's going to run that thing up. Y'all think I'm playing with you. All right. You go right on ahead. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep clipping me. You keep coming after me. One of you fuckers came after one of my kids. I'm going to fucking obliterate you now. Don't run. Don't say I'm coming back after the fact. I've been on this show 3 times this week telling you what's going to happen. I'm promising you it's happening.
All right.
I have had no bigger conviction in my life other than that time that Susie Q gave me a kiss and I didn't give her a kiss back. Okay? But the long short in this, welcome to the big show. You do that again, you're going to get your asses whooped.